The information is presented for educational purposes only, is not intended to diagnose or prescribe for any medical or psychological condition, or to prevent, treat, mitigate, or cure such conditions. This information is only presented herein for entertainment and educational purposes only. Hi, I'm David DeHaas of Living Waters Wellness Center, and welcome to the Whole Body Detox Show. I'm your host today. Living Waters Wellness Center is a Treasure Valley's largest colon hydrotherapy center and best known for a 10-day cleanse and healing retreat. To learn more about colon hydrotherapy and detoxifying the body, go to livingwaterscleanse.com. Watch the webinar, The 4 Natural Laws of Healing. I was once a medical refugee seeking out how to heal my body. By the age of 30, I was suffering from numerous symptoms, including allergies, severe fatigue, constipation, brain fog, joint pain, back pain, psoriasis, acne, and eventually cancer. I spent about 20 years learning how to heal my body. Now I teach others how they can recover using the 4 natural laws of healing. Each week, we bring you the information you need to discern how you can heal your body. Welcome to the show. Good morning, everyone. David DeHaas from Living Waters Wellness Center and your host of the Whole Body Detox Show. If you want to learn more about us, you'll need this website, livingwaterscleanse.com, livingwaterscleanse.com. Phone number for the office, 208-378-9911. So if you get excited about something you hear about today, want to take action, that 378-9911 will be the number for you to talk to. So today we're going to talk about organs in your body that seem to be non-essential. I mean, what was God thinking? I mean, he put things in like the gallbladder and the appendix and the tonsils. And for some reason, the medical community has said, we don't really need those. They're kind of an extra accessory. We're going to talk about that today. So, any concerns about your tonsils, your gallbladder, your appendix, and if you had those out, you definitely want to listen to this show because we'll talk about what you need to be doing now. If you've had prostate concerns, you're going to want to listen to the show. If you've had breast concerns, lumps, lymphatic issues, you're going to want to listen to the show today. So we're going to talk a lot about these kinds of things. And then, of course, how do we heal this naturally? How do we give the body the ability, the chance to take care of healing from within? And if you want to learn more about what we do here at Living Waters, especially our 10-day healing retreat, you want to go to livingwaterscleanse.com, click on the webinar, the video called 4 Natural Laws of Healing, 4 Natural Laws of Healing. And in that webinar, you're going to learn all the things and all the tools that we use here at Living Waters Wellness Center on our cleanse and why we have such amazing miracles happen on our 10-day retreat. If you're looking to get your miracle, give us a call and we'd be happy to meet with you and share more about that. But first, watch the video so you understand what we do. So let's talk about some of these organs that apparently seem to be not essential. So are tonsils just an extra organ? Well, of course not. The good Lord put it there for a reason. It's there to prevent the bacteria and viruses from passing through. So it is a defense mechanism and help produce the T cells, lymphocytes to help protect against dis-ease. So it's interesting. I just did a Google search and it basically downplays the necessary of the tonsils. Well, when most medical professionals determine that, okay, you've got tonsils that are having some problem, no one ever looks further beyond that to say, well, why? Why are all of a sudden the tonsils inflamed? Why are they causing a problem? And what you'll find every time is a constipated system. In other words, we've had putrefying, rotting matter in the bowels that is actually causing this problem. You say, well, David, the tonsils are a long way off from where the tonsils are a long way off from where the bowels are. How can that happen? Well, because basically in the bowels, when you're constipated, and again, maybe you're having one bowel movement a day. You think you're doing great. Well, when you eat 3 times a day and things don't leave the body, it sits there and putrefies and rots. And now that squishes out into the tissue. The blood system absorbs some of that. The blood system then has a way of discharging some of the toxins. It does that via interstitial fluid that seeps into the tissues. The lymphatic system comes along and picks it up. No pump for that lymphatic system. So if you are someone who is not active and you're not moving your body much or jumping up and down or doing any jump rope, then there's no pump for that lymphatic fluid to flow up towards the heart and into the vein, which takes it to the liver, where the liver works on cleaning it up. So again, it goes back to the constipation in the body, this rotting, putrefying matter. It can cause problems not only the tonsils, but the appendix, lungs, those of you who have breathing problems, asthma, hay fever, all related. Let's clean out the bowels first. For any effectual healing to take place, we've got to start there. Number one, what's a colonic? Well, go to our website at livingwaterscleanse.com. And you'll see a short little 10-minute video. It's very private, very easier. I want to share with you a story. I had a guy come in with a lung problem and a sore throat. Now, he had been to the hospital the day before. And I told his daughter, I says, well, tell him to come in here and do some colonics. And she looked at me like, just what? I says, yes, tell him to come in here and do some colonics. So he did. He came in and he did a series of only 3 colonics. And he told me, David, that's the best I've slept in years. I feel so much better. His fever was gone. His face was not flushed anymore. He felt great in just 3 colonics. So it makes quite a difference getting that impaction out of the bowels. So tonsils are necessary to keep away the pathogens, the viruses, the bacteria, and the parasites from passing through. It's a little guard right there at the top of your throat. So it's something to keep in good shape. And to keep it in good shape, you need to take care of your bowels. Bowels can stop anything up. I call it the trifecta, the 3. It's not unusual. I'll meet people who've had not only the tonsils out, and sometimes I've heard people that say, no, I had a little problem going on. The doctor suggested it, and they just took them out when I was a young kid. Well, they should have did some colonics, or at the very least some enemas, and cleared out the impaction, and you'd be amazed how quickly it would heal. I had a gentleman come in. He's 13 years of age, and he was due to have surgery to have his appendix taken out. He had been over at his dad's house, and he had ate a lot of cheese and pizza, and I just happened to call his mother. And she says, David, I got this dilemma. I don't know what to do. My son's going to have his appendix out tomorrow. I said, well, why don't you try some colonics first and see what happens? Maybe it'll clear it. Maybe that pain will go away. What if it does? You avoid surgery. So she quickly gathered up her boy and brought him in and took a little bribing to get him to do a colonic, but she bribed him pretty good, and she got him to do the colonic. And he came out, and he felt much better. Pain was down. And I explained to him what was going on in his body. I said, now what would you imagine? You've just done 1 colonic. What would you do if you did a few more? So he agreed to come back the next day, did another colonic, canceled his surgery, and did a series of, I think, 3, maybe 5 colonics, and completely cleared it, kept his appendix. Now, David, you're going to ask, well, why is it so important to keep the appendix? Well, that appendix is, again, a very essential organ. It's not an accessory item. So the appendix, if you were to take your hand down the right side of your body, follow it down past your ribs, down that lower area, that's where your large intestine begins, from where the small intestine dumps that fluid on your right side into the ascending colon, and now that waste matter has to go against gravity by using peristalsis, the squeezing of the colon, and move that around. Well, what can happen? There's a little pocket down there, and where just below where the ileocecal valve is, where that's the ileocecal valve is where the small intestine dumps the mostly liquid, should be liquid, into the ascending colon. Now, that appendix is secreting a fluid to establish and keep your colon safe. It does that by secreting a powerful germicidal fluid, which is automatically injected into the cecum only when the waste matter coming from the small intestine through the ileocecal valve is potentially harmful to the welfare of the individual. In other words, think of a guy down there pulling the trigger when he sees some nasty stuff coming out of the small intestine past that ileocecal valve. He'll just squirt it. That's what your appendix is doing. So getting rid of the appendix is not a good idea, because now you're going to take away that mechanism to keep your body safe. You want this line of defense to be active for you. And if you do that, we're going to keep our body healthier if you have that item to do its job. If not, you're going to have a problem throughout your life, which unfortunately, many of you probably listening have already had that taken out. Remember, the reason why it became a problem is you're constipated. If you're constipated then, you're probably still constipated now if you have not done colon hydrotherapy. I can submit to you, most of the people over the 13 years we've been doing this that have came to us and had the trifecta, I call it the trifecta, taken out your gallbladder, your appendix, and your tonsils, it's a constipation issue that began there. We come back on the next section. We're going to talk more about this. If you want to learn more about heal the body naturally, you got to go grab our 4 natural laws of healing on the website at livingwaterscleanse.com. livingwaterscleanse.com. It's a 68-minute webinar. I tell you guys, I give you a lot of information in that little webinar. And so definitely go watch it. Have your kids watch it. Have your spouse watch it. Have your whole family watch it. It's a great way to understand how to keep your body healthy long term. Most people get off that colonic bed and go, oh my gosh, I feel lighter and refreshed. And today I had a lady that was in here and she says, you know, I came in here just to do one because I hadn't done one in a long, long time. But you know what? I think you're going to save my life. This is making a big difference. And she's only done 2 colonics so far. And I got to tell you, when we see people come through our 10-day healing retreat and they get on the back side of those 10 days, they are different bodies, different beings. I mean, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. They're completely changed. You can't help but change because there's so much toxicity we're getting out of the body quickly and easily. So if you want to learn more about that, go to 4naturallawsofhealing.com or visit the website at livingwaterscleanse.com. So I want to make colon hydrotherapy as popular as taking a daily shower. In order to do that, I'm going to entice you a little bribe here. If you come in this week, for just $99, I'm going to give you $200 worth of services. I'm going to give you a colonic. I'm going to do a consult for you. I'm going to give you a whole body lymphatic detox. I'm going to give you a whole body far infrared session as well. So that session you're going to love. You're going to probably fall asleep on the mat, get really relaxed, really re-energized. So come and try that. Just call the office at 208-378-9911, 208-378-9911, and ask them for the KIDO first time in special for $99. Okay, so on the last segment, we were talking about tonsils and how the tonsils are there to protect against bacteria and viruses and bugs, critters. So if you've had those out, that's a problem. But why did you have it out, right? As we mentioned in the last session, it's because you're constipated. We talked about the appendix. Too many appendixes have been taken out. Like it's just a non-essential organ. But that appendix is there. It's a guard of the colon. As fluid drops out of the small intestine into the cecum, it has to go up against gravity. If that ascending colon, it's there to squirt out a fluid. So you got a little guy down there, if you can imagine. He's sitting there just waiting, vigilant, always, 24 hours a day. He sees some stuff come in, some nasty stuff. He goes, you know what? We got to squirt that stuff with some of this germicidal fluid. And by golly, it does that very efficiently, unless you get some impaction down there. Now, that side of the body is pretty easy to get impacted for 2 reasons. Stress, poor choice of foods, a lack of fiber in the gut, and you've got a mess. And that colon can go from being 3 inches in diameter to as big as 16 inches in diameter. When you come down to the office, I've got a picture on the wall of a guy's colon who the whole colon was completely at least 16 inches in diameter, and he had to have it taken out. Now, I've had people come here with the same affliction, severely compacted. I mean severely. Okay, this is the worst I've ever seen, but he told me it had been 2 months, said he'd had a normal bowel movement. 2 months. It took 11 days of hydration to break up that compacted fecal matter, and it came out like concrete. It wasn't very fun to get that out, but thank God he did. He could barely talk when he came to see us. It was very hoarse like this. I really straining to talk because he was so plugged up. But colon hydrotherapy saved the day, saved his life, saved his colon, and you want to keep that colon. Getting a bag is not something you should seek to do. I know some people have been in pain over the years and they opted for it. But God, now you got to change a bag all the time, several times a day. You got all that mess, and if one explodes, it's so embarrassing. Guys, let's just prevent that from happening by doing regular colon hydrotherapy. Unplug the body, get the constipation out, and then these other organs are going to be well. Okay, let's talk about the gallbladder. We talked a lot about the liver gallbladder last week on the show, and if you missed it, You can catch it on the podcast because we went into deep detail about what the liver does and the gallbladder does. And you catch that on wholebodydetoxshow.com. That's where our podcast is at. Or if you're on Spotify or iTunes or whatever, Apple, you can just type in Whole Body Detox Show and our podcast will pop up there as well. But again, where is the connection of the nerve between the colon and the gallbladder? Well, it's right across from the ileocecal valve, again on that lower right side, kind of right there below your liver area. And when you've got impaction, and again, guys, remember that food that's liquid has got to be squeezed to move up into the transverse colon. That's the part of the colon that's going across underneath your ribs, across the body, and then drops down. That's going to be your descending colon. And you're going to want to make sure that that's always moving. Well, we get stress in our world, or maybe we were on a trip or we had to hold it, and we began holding in our fecal matter. And that becomes a problem where we have to, can't you just hold it? Can't you just hold it a little longer? We'll be to the next exit not too soon, or we'll be to the next town. No, holding it's a bad deal. When you got to go, you got to go. And you don't want to hold on to things. It's going to continue to dry out that mass. And now you've got hard stuff in there. And for those of you who are spitting out little what I call rabbit turds, those little round balls, you're severely impacted. In other words, you've got such hard ingrained matter there, and you're always spitting out these little balls now and then. That's a big problem. And you are a cancer colon waiting to happen. Because when you leave that rotting, putrefying mass in there over time, bad things are going to happen. In other words, what's the body got to do with these toxins? Have you ever thought about that? Well, the body has this amazing way of temporarily creating garbage dumps. I call these garbage dumps, or actually the medical profession calls the garbage dumps, polyps or tumors or cysts. Anytime you get those words, think, I'm constipated. My body took it upon itself to create a toxic place to store this stuff. For those of you who have these little fatty tumors on your body that are kind of protruding from your skin, again, your body says, you know what? I got to put this someplace. Where can I put it? And the body just looks for a place, and it'll find a weak area, and it'll put it there. For those of you with rheumatoid arthritis, same thing. You've got these heavy metals and these parasites, and the body had to put it someplace. And now you've got a problem. And so rather than chasing the symptom, let's get to the root cause. Let's clean out the bowels by doing colon hydrotherapy. And again, if you're just joining us, go to livingwaterscleanse.com. There's a great little video. In 10 minutes, you'll see how a colonic is done. It's really easy to do. It's not embarrassing at all. You're covered up with a blanket. It's very private. We have the nicest beds in the whole world that are made, very comfortable and very easy to use. And like I say, most people get off the colonic bed and they go, oh, thank goodness I did that. I feel lighter and refreshed. That's the normal comment. So it's really important to keep the gallbladder, because what's the gallbladder doing? As I mentioned last week on the show, it's secreting bile. And you want that depository to save up until you eat some ice cream or you have some hamburger or some cheese, and you need that digestive bile to break that down, like soap. It's going to break down that matter like soap, and you want the gallbladder to do its job. The problem is you've been taking in so many toxins over the years that now they've calcified in that gallbladder. When it squeezes, you get stuck in a duct, and it hurts. That happened to my wife years ago. I thought she was having a heart attack. I rushed her to the hospital. They did some scans on her, and they concluded, oh, what you've got is you've got a very toxic gallbladder there. We should get that out right now. And we met with the surgeon, and the surgeon says, if you don't have this out, next time that happens, you will die. And I looked at this guy going like, what? There's got to be a way to heal this. Come on. Nope. Got to have it out. I said, well, thank you for your information. We're not going to go that route. And so she was very, very careful about the fat she ate, and we began the process of healing up that gallbladder. And that began with doing some cleansing. So if you've got a gallbladder that's causing you some problem, come do some colonics. Let's get those toxins out of there. Let's get those bowels moving. Think about your refrigerator. You've got food in there rotting for 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 20 years. Could you imagine? Oh, I can't even imagine. Well, that's what's happening in your bowels. So it's really important for you to understand how to do this. So when we come back on the next section, we'll talk about more of these essential or non-essential organs. Are they non-essential? No, they're really not non-essential. You need them. Talk about more about that. And if you want to learn more about how the body heals naturally, again, our website, livingwaterscleanse.com, livingwaterscleanse.com. and click on the 4 Natural Laws of Healing. Watch that webinar. Watch it with your whole family. Educate the heck out of your family while they're young. Teach them the 4 natural laws, and your family will live well the rest of its life. I'm David DeHaas on the Whole Body Detox Show on KIDO Talk Radio. Stay tuned. You can't treat the body and heal it a piece at a time. You have to treat the whole body naturally. That's why Living Waters Wellness Center 10-day healing retreat is so successful in helping what I call the incurables back to wellness. Here's what a few clients had to say about their experience at Living Waters Wellness Center.
For over a year, I've been dealing with gas pains, stomach pains, and it's been waking me up in the middle of the night, so I never get a full night's rest. And last night, after my first colonics, I slept through the entire night without any stomach pain or any kind of issues.
I suffered from migraine headaches for 12 years, once a month, and since I did the 10-day retreat at Living Waters Wellness Center 8 years ago, I have not even had a migraine. I've not even had a headache.
I had back pain on my left side for about 25 years. After the 10-day healing retreat, the pain is completely gone.
To learn more about the 10-day healing retreat, go to healingtheincurables.com or call the office at 208-378-9911. That's 208-378-9911. The preceding examples may not be typical of your experience and may not be right for you. Seek the opinion of a qualified healthcare professional before determining if cleansing is right for you. Welcome back, David DeHaas from Living Waters Wellness Center and your host of the Whole Body Detox Show, where we come together each week to give you the information you need to thoroughly detoxify your body so that you can live the life that you are meant to live. In other words, what is a normal life to live? You know, I subscribe to, I want to live like Jack LaLanne. Here's a guy who was speaking engagements on television, doing his show up until 94 years of age. I mean, the guy was just amazing. Not only did he exercise, but he cleaned out his gut and he took lots of vitamin supplements. That should be the new normal, not this, I got to be in a nursing home or assisted living center when I'm 70 or 72 or I've lost my brain function. No, if you do the steps you need in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, everything you do today is going to dictate how you're going to live 5-10 years from now. So let's eat clean food. Let's detoxify the body. Let's keep the essential organs. Today we've been talking about the appendix and the tonsils and the gallbladder. And if you've had any one of those out, you may be having experienced symptoms like being tired. You may not have the sex drive that you desire. So it's really important to keep these organs. And especially for men, prostate health. Let's talk about prostate health for a moment, because this has come up several times this week. The reason we got involved in providing the 10-day cleanse to the Treasure Valley is years ago, my father-in-law not only had prostate cancer, but he had liver cancer, colon cancer. He had about 4 months to live, he was told. So he decided to do a 10-day cleanse using colon hydrotherapy. And what a difference it made. He ended up living 12 more years. Went from 4 months potentially to 12 years. Great years. He was healthy. He did all the right things. He cleaned out his bowels. He cleaned out his gallbladder and liver. He did liver cleansing. He did parasite cleansing. He did everything that was asked of him to do. And he completely changed the course of his life. And it made a huge difference. He got to enjoy his grandkids and go on trips and so forth. So he lived in his home until the very end. And it's really important to understand that as I see it, anybody that's got, had to go to a nursing home or assisted living, that's because of the foods you ate and the toxins you've taken into your body. Clean those bodies out, get rid of those toxins, and you're going to live a different life. So we'll talk about prostate. One of the easiest things to clear is prostate. I'll tell you two stories. One's my father-in-law. I already told you about him. Another was another guy who his PSA number was up in the 40s as measured at the University of Utah. Shared with him the benefits of doing a 10-day healing retreat. And he considered it with a little bit of encouragement, and he did it. Went back to the University of Utah. They tested him once. Said, that's odd. They tested him a second time. That's really weird. They tested him a third time. His PSA number had dropped from over 40 to 0. And they said to him, well, either you are a miracle, or maybe our previous measurements, which had been there, I think, 2 or 3 times, were wrong. He says, thank you very much. He's still living today. And that's been over 13 years. The other one is my father. And he got diagnosed the year 2008. His PSA number was getting high. Pretty soon got to 38. They said, sir, what you have is fast-acting cancer. Better do something about that. So I says, Dad, you're toxic. You've been fixing equipment, John Deere equipment, your whole life, 55 plus years. You know, you got a lot of toxins in that body and in those tissues. Let's clean it out. So he began cleaning it out. And I got to tell you, the doctor that was monitoring him was totally shocked at how quickly he was clearing. Now, they told my dad the best case, PSA number might get down to 7 or 8, but it's going to come back in a couple of years. In other words, you got 2 years to live, buddy. Well, it's been 13. My dad just bought a brand new John Deere tractor on payments at 88 years of age. So I guess he figured he can amortize that out over the next 7 years. So he plans on being around a while. Still active, cuts wood off his property, lives up in the mountains, puts in fence, does all the things, works on his tractors, etc. He's totally active. Isn't it best to be active and living in your own home at 80, 88, being able to go anywhere, do anything, versus being toxic and run down? Look at, guys, you've got to clean these things out. And as I say to people with prostate cancer, look at, don't go get surgery. Let's clean it out first. You know, 10 days, a 10-day healing retreat. You know, if you still need to go get it out later, you can still have that option. And the option is always there. Let's clean out the body first. Let's give the body a chance. We get the body cleaned out, and then we give it the nutrition. We give it the antioxidants and the ability to turn on its NK and T cells and go attack those cancer cells. Naturally, I have seen tumors shrink on our 10-day cleanse. Blows my mind that's happened. But especially, we had a guy come in one time, and it was a little freaky for our colon hydrotherapist because it was pretty serious. He had severe hemorrhoids, big old tumor in his rectum, and of course his option was to cut out his rectum and colon and give him a bag, and he wasn't excited about that. So the hemorrhoids shrunk down, the tumor started shrinking, and he actually had some bleeding, and that stopped in a couple of days. So guys, listen, when you've got old rotting matter in your colon and small intestine, that is going to result in a problem later down. Would you ever allow your car to go without an oil change? Would you go 20,000 miles, 40,000 miles, 100,000 miles, never change the oil, never change the air filter? Would you do that? Most of you say, well, no, David, that's going to cause problems to the engine. Yeah, but what about your internal engine? What are you doing for your internal engine? Like, my God, you are in your body 24/7. That poor old heart's doing its best. And when you've got dirty bowels, you've got dirty blood. And now the blood gets so turbid, it's more like milkshake than water. And guess what? The valves get wore out. I had a young man in here the other day. They got him slated for putting a new valve in, which they can do pretty quickly. Pretty expensive, but they can do it. But the problem is, he hasn't cleaned up the blood. What's going to happen to the next valve? Right? Let's clean up the blood. Let's clean up the colon. Let's clean up the small intestine. There's 4 natural laws you need to burn into your brain. And I give that to you at livingwaterscleanse.com. Click on the webinar, 4 natural laws of healing. Okay. You got to come try a colonic. It's really so simple. Once you get hooked, like our clients are, you're going to make it a regular part of your world because it's just that much of a change. I've done probably over 550 colonics. I can do more at 63 than I can do at 33. And what's even more shocking to me is how, as I keep cleansing, keep getting these toxins out of my body, again, I had a lot of toxins, a lot of mercury from amalgam fillings, from shots, for allergy shots back in the day. I used to have severe allergies. I have no more allergies. I used to have asthma. I have no more asthma. I mean, it's amazing compared to what I used to be in my youth. My joints don't hurt. My muscles don't hurt. I have energy. I don't have the adrenal fatigue. I don't have those problems anymore. I had those problems in my 30s, 20s, and 30s. I was a mess. So it's really important to make sure you understand these organs, the tonsils. Okay, first stop. Hey, what's coming in? Let's take care of it. The appendix, squirt, we got to keep that germicidal fluid flowing knock out those bad bugs. Gallbladder, we got to have good bile to break down the foods. If you've had those out, it's not a problem, but we can take care of it by getting the body clean. We can improve things to some degree. And then it's, of course, a matter of taking good nutrition. I mentioned on the last segment, if you want to come try a colonic, if you've never tried it, it's for brand new people only, $99 special. I'm going to give you a consultation, a free biomat session, and a free lymphatic detox, as well as the colonic. Well over $200 value for just $99. Call the office at 208-378-9911. Okay, the fourth supposed organ that you supposedly don't need are breasts. Oh my gosh. So many surgeries could have been prevented if only you knew about deep tissue cleansing. So for those of you who have had some lumps, maybe have some lumps now, let's talk about what's happening there. In order to understand why you have these little lumps, you have to understand the lymphatic system. Your amazing lymphatic system is a great detoxifier. There are 800 lymphatic nodes in your body, carrying about 45 pints of interstitial fluid. So the way this gets picked up is your colon, and when it's constipated especially, it's going to push this fecal matter into the tissues. The blood system picks that up. The blood system, the capillaries of the blood system will seep a fluid all day long in your body. That's called interstitial fluid. So in your tissues, from the bottom of your legs to the top of your head, there are lymph nodes. Now there's no pump to move this fluid, which is interesting because your heart pumps about 5 pints of blood per day. You have 45 pints of lymphatic fluid. A lot more lymphatic fluid, but no pump. What's the pump? How do we move that fluid from the down your legs up to the vein that takes it into the liver? Jump rope, walking, jumping up and down, moving. Down here we use a vibration machine, whole body vibration. If you want to learn more about what those do, and I suggest strongly, I'm doing a sale right now, you get yourself an in-home vibration machine. And we like the T-Zone because it's the smoothest, it's got a great warranty, very reliable, excellent, excellent tool. And that's going to help push that lymphatic fluid up to the vein, and then it drops into the liver, and the liver then deals with these toxins. Now, you got a whole bunch of lymphatic nodes under your armpit, around your breast, up around your neck, your head. Those lymph nodes, if they get plugged, it's because you weren't moving enough and you had this toxins in there, and eventually, even though the lymphatic system encapsulated it, it protected you for a time being until pretty soon it oxidized enough that it could potentially become cancerous. Well, let's move that lymphatic fluid out of there before that becomes cancerous. So we do that. Let's say jump roping, trampoline works, whole body vibration works really good, so much better. 10 minutes on a vibration machine each day, not only are you building muscle and building bone, but you're moving lymphatic fluid. You're increasing your flexibility. You can do the effect of creating upper body strength by doing a simulation of push-ups on this machine without doing push-ups and still strengthen your arms. You can strengthen your shoulders. You can strengthen any part of the body because 30 contractions per second. They're marvelous machines. Go watch the video at healthvibrate.com. We're having a sale this month on those. If you're thinking about building your own home wellness center, which I strongly encourage you to do, this is one of the tools that you need as part of your daily detoxification mechanisms. Okay, just as critical as a blender or a juicer. So what's happened to when people get breast cancer, they have a little lump there. I've seen people come in here with lumps, and we've got them on the vibration machine, and they've cleared the lumps that quickly. Now, does it always work that way? Well, it depends on how long you've had that junk in the lymph node. But I've seen it happen many, many times. So we want to clean it out. And we do that by vibrating. We do that by doing colon hydrotherapy. And then we do that by deep tissue cleansing. And if you want to learn more about all the tools we use to make this work well, you want to go to livingwaterscleanse.com, click on the video called 4 Natural Laws of Healing, and learn those 4 natural laws. Burn those into your brain, because those 4 natural laws, you follow that, I don't care what you have, you're going to increase your health in your body by following those 4 natural laws. Because you can't be sick. If you've got a clean colon, a clean small intestine, you're cleaning out your lymphatic system, you're cleaning the blood regularly, there's no reason why you should ever be sick. Now, can you always catch a virus, get stressed and catch a virus, catch a little bacteria? Sure, from time to time. But again, if you're clean and your immune system is on high alert, very less likely to not get sick. If you do get sick, if you do get some sniffles, if you do get a little something, first go to, never cancel your colon hydrotherapy appointment. Get in and do a colonic. Time after time after time, I've had clients call over the years and say, gee, I can't come, I'm sick. And I say, this is when you should be on the colonic bed. Really, David? Yes, really. Come in, do a colonic, notice the difference. And sure enough, I've had people that weren't going to go to work after doing a colonic. That quickly. Why? Because 85% of the immune system is in the gut. You got a vast microbiome there. You got good bugs, bad bugs. You want that ratio to be perfect. You want to keep it cleaned out. So if you're not going to the bathroom daily, that's a problem. You're a cancer waiting to happen. So constipation, guys, is a really big deal. Not only just colon cancer, but cancer anywhere else in the body. Prostate cancer, breast cancer, liver cancer, because of the toxicity that's building up in your system. How else are you going to clean the system out? You can't eat enough fiber. You can't drink enough water. You can't drink enough juice to clean out your body. You're not going to clean it out that way. Juicing is great for building up micronutrients in the system and getting the nutrition you need for your cells to burn the fuel, the proper fuel in your body, and repair and restore. But there's no way that juicing is actually, people think I'm doing a juice cleanse. Well, that's kind of a misnomer. You're not really cleansing the body by juicing. You're giving it a break. You're not really dirtying things up like you would normally, but it's really not a cleanse. We got to get water from the hind end up. We got to take the supplements. We got to do the tools, which I mentioned in the webinar, 4 natural laws of healing. So go watch that. So breasts are actually, we can keep those. I have seen people with cancer that have effectively healed it naturally. But it's ideal if you get on top of it sooner than later. Don't let it go too long. I've seen some pretty nasty stuff over the years, and sometimes it gets just too far gone. And I've had people come in here with cancer tumors that are as big as my fist, or bigger, 2 fists sometimes. That's we're past the time of being able to take care of that for sure. Anyway, guys, it's been great being with you today. Listen, I podcast these, so if you've missed any portion of the show, go to wholebodydetoxshow.com. You'll see all of our podcasts there. It's got some great interviews we've done over the year. And I'll be back next week, of course. Now, don't forget, $99 special for any first-time listeners or guests who have not been into the clinic, $99. It's well over $200 value. I'm going to give you about 2.5 hours plus of our time and our energy and our tools so that you can begin the process of healing your body naturally, cleaning out those toxins so that you can keep your essential organs that we talked about today. Because you want those organs. They're not non-essential. You want to keep your organs is the point of my story. You don't want to get rid of these organs. I'll see you next week. I'm David DeHaas from Living Waters Wellness Center, livingwaterscleanse.com. We'll see you next week. Have a blessed week. You can't treat the body and heal it a piece at a time. You have to treat the whole body naturally. That's why Living Waters Wellness Center 10-day healing retreat is so successful in helping what I call the incurables back to wellness. Here's what a few clients had to say about their experience at Living Waters Wellness Center.
For over a year, I've been dealing with gas pains, stomach pains, and it's been waking me up in the middle of the night, so I never get a full night's rest. And last night, after my first colonics, I slept through the entire night without any stomach pain or any kind of issues.
I suffered from migraine headaches for 12 years, once a month, and since I did the 10-day retreat at Living Waters Wellness Center 8 years ago, I have not even had a migraine. I've not even had a headache.
I had back pain on my left side for about 25 years after the 10-day healing retreat, the pain is completely gone.
To learn more about the 10-day healing retreat, go to healingtheincurables.com or call the office at 208-378-9911. That's 208-378-9911. The preceding examples may not be typical of your experience and may not be right for you. Seek the opinion of a qualified healthcare professional before determining if cleansing is right for you.